And welcome to Gamers Health. I am Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR, the man with too much and yet apparently too little hair, as my father has offered me Rogaine. Uh, and with me, as always, on Saturday night is my lovely wife, Rach.
Hello.
So, Don, good to see you. We're gonna have to do a special with a number of individuals who have another similar problem. It'll be the male episode of what we're.
Why Mel?
Well, it could be anybody,
Yes, it could.
but everybody I know that's had any kind of a heart issue happens to be a male. You women seem to be made of stronger stuff. I don't know.
I
What
don't
it is.
know. I think there's a lot of factors.
If you can survive menopause, you can.
Well, it's interesting. We'll get into that, and we can get into some of the links and some of the complications that can happen as women make it past menopause.
Yep. So there's a bunch of stuff that we're going to touch on. It's not going to be all menopause all the time tonight. We're going to have other things to cover.
We're going to try to keep the ooh and goop out, but you can only do that so much when you talk about menopause and lady parts.
Well, Don, we'll address. You had what I had back in 2000. Essentially, you had one of those life-changing moments. You got to the precipice. You looked over the edge, and you kind of said, "I got to make some changes." And Rach knows that I got to that edge because when I had to go in, I was hospitalized for 3 weeks, around I guess a week and a half, and I had to lose a lot of water. I had about 60 pounds of water. I had to lose about 40 pounds before they would actually, do the procedure and check to see how many stents I was going to need. And before that procedure, I wrote an email that I, for the first time in my life, set on timer, and then forgot that I'd set it on timer because it was supposed to be the email that goes out in case shit went wrong. And you do this because you care about people and you want them to know how much you care about them. So Rach knew how much I cared about her from this stupid email that really addressed a lot of things. But I am healthier now than I was prior. You can look in my kitchen and you're going to see is a lot of low carb, low sodium snacks. Not no sodium, but lower sodium, and it's a life change, and you have to make it a life change. TXG, always good to see you.
Hello.
Don, I want to say it right now. You and Rach were awesome to my wife. Thank you both. I really mean that.
Thank you.
Don, I've said this before. I told your wife this. We are an extended family, and this really is important to all of us, right? And we are all important to each other. And as an extended family, as a community, you take care of everyone within it to the best of your ability. And that means stepping up when you need to step up. Yeah, I know this. Rich, first off, I know I can hear that there's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm not gonna. What do you think? I'm gonna start throwing out shit bombs and f bombs and stuff.
Well, no.
I fully, just so you all know, our niece and her best friend are staying the night. And they're probably in the next room. So if you hear crawling around, and you hear me self censor, whatever, probably not get self censored. My niece has seen me drive. I think it's pretty obvious with the language I use. Okay, both of you and Tom are growing beards. Kind of funny that you're both doing it at the same time. I will be honest with you, and the reason why I've let this grow in is because I was springing leaks on my face.
Oh yeah.
So by leaving the beard to grow a little bit, if I do spring a leak, and this is what happens when you're on blood thinners and stuff, it's a potential. Um, the beard keeps it from necessarily being obvious. So just a little. In my case, this is just a little tidbit of why I do what I do. Um, Tom, evening. Paul, yes, it's the weekend, and party time, excellent. And now that is the individuals they're planning.
So my mother-in-law has a fart machine, and so it sounds like the girls are kind of maybe happy or unhappy that they're just making their presence known in the podcast.
Shannon heard. Our niece Shannon, by the way, does have stomach issues, so I am not sure if that's the fart
Oh my
machine,
god, yeah.
or if she's shitting her pants. I don't know.
Oh my god, girl.
Well, there you go.
That's so nasty. Are you sure you're okay? I see you grabbing your stomach.
You might the bathroom's right over there. You might want to check yourself out. It just an idea. Yes, we're gonna go for the whale. I'm Captain Ahab. And yes, as we talk about things like menopause and heart issues,
we will have this lovely.
We've got preteens serenading us with the fart machine. I don't know if my microphone's even picking this up.
I wonder. Well,
but it's my ears are certainly picking this up. Tammy, Don, I will second what Eric said. We are family, and Tina was being nice to pass along the info to us. We're just loving on her. Glad it helped. Yeah, and folks, listen. There's a reason why I speak about what I go through with my health challenges. There's a reason why Rach speaks about what she's going through with her health challenges, because what any of us are going through, while it's unique to us, it is not necessarily unique. Okay? Congestive heart failure, getting stents. I've had 5, and the last one was actually a surprise. The last one was a year ago, and my cardiologist, after doing a cardio PET scan, was like, you know what? There's a little. I think there's an issue with one of your stents. There could be. I'm not really sure. I'm actually leaning against not. You know what? We should just do it and have them. And guess what? That stent. Yeah, it had a little issue.
It had quite an issue.
No, not that. No.
There was another one.
But they found that I had a
different blockage.
I had
of your
the match to the Widowmaker. So it wasn't the Widowmaker. I thought it was the Widowmaker, but
the Widowmaker on one side, and this was the
other side.
Well, mirror image of that.
70% blockage. Now, what didn't show up in a scan? Now, why doesn't it show up in a scan? As great as these scans are, if your body compensates, and guess what? My body's compensated for a whole blockage up here, 100% occluded. If your body compensates, a lot of this stuff will not show up because there's not. Essentially, there isn't a blockage, although there will. When this went from 70 to 80%, it might have then be really noticeable. So, again, these things are. That which doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? I looked at 2020. It's an educational year. And it allowed me to focus on what was important to me. Rach, the rest of my family, my community. And if I'm focusing on that, me, the physical, the temple, if you want to speak, that allows all this other stuff to happen, has to be taken care of. It has to be maintained, and you don't have to do a complete 180 in a single motion. You put steps in motion, and you will get there. Don't let yourself be overwhelmed by what's going on in your life, physically, mentally, other time constraints. Just so long as you continually make motions in the right direction in the long run and the short run, you'll find yourself moving in that right direction. And now that we've had our interlude, we will now get the men squirming. Because here, I'm going to give you my perspective. I am extremely lucky. Uh, Rach and I, that whole like never go to bed angry at somebody, never go to sleep angry at somebody. It's never been an issue with us. Um, do we have our disagreements?
Hell yeah.
Hell yes. Um, and when we have these disagreements, are the vast majority of them because of baggage that we ourselves brought into the relationship
Yeah.
because of whatever family prior experiences? Yeah, because a lot of times you put expectations onto your partner that isn't necessarily them, but something in the
Well, the
past.
safety is there, and then it just surfaces, and
Yeah,
um, it's like that's why our relationships can be so corrective for us.
yeah. So Rach and I'm also very, by the way, I'm very empathic with Rach. So when she wants to, at the moment, kill our son, um, and then it burns out of her. Like she'll be mad for like 5 minutes, and then she's like, "Okay, I still love
All
Chris."
right, I'm done. He's
Um,
good.
I'm the one that's like opening up a window to throw his computer out the second story window because and I wasn't mad at the kid, but I am now channeling Rick because she just was able to pass it off.
Right, you just absorb it, and you get the constipated rage.
So, in during menopause, as the spouse, I'm not just saying as the husband, but as the spouse of somebody, or as the significant other, or as the family member of
Right.
somebody who is going through menopause, you got to take your, uh, you have to be empathetic and sympathetic. And normally, my upbringing on my job was have empathy and not sympathy, because sympathy, lets you misjudge things.
Well, it doesn't help the situation
Right. But
because it's still a power differential in that when you're empathic with somebody, it takes away that sort of power differential, and you can see from their shoes what things
right.
are like.
But when it's your significant other, when it's your spouse, have sympathy, have empathy, because there are little things that are. I'm just talking from my own experience. Rates can go from too hot to too cold. This is no secret. Right? It's part of what's going on. I'll be sitting around
Oh, I
and
don't generally go hot. I'm just always cold.
no, there are nights when you get hot.
Oh, that's true. I do. I sweat the bed, and I'll be like, "Oh, get the blanket out of here."
Right. So,
but I'll go to bed going shivering.
Yeah. So now, Rach and I always ran at different temperatures. I usually run warm. She usually runs cold. So the earliest solution to that, and this is prior to menopause, that we came up with real quickly when we got married was, you know what? Separate top sheet, separate blankets, because I will sleep with a single sheet and a very light blanket, and Rach will have.
Yeah, I want the big comforter up
Yeah.
over there, and he's just like, get it out of here, but it's too low on that side because you can't.
So you have to make accommodations.
So we have to, you have to, work as a team to kind of.
Yes. We've done pretty
make
well.
yourself comfortable. Yeah, but we'll get to all the ways that partners can be helpful through this process. But let's talk about what the process really is.
This is the part I don't.
It's like okay. It's gonna be okay.
I'm gonna hide right now if you don't mind.
So just go ahead and breathe.
Is this directed at me or the women out there?
everybody deserves to breathe.
Okay. I
But
didn't know.
get your breath, get your composure, get your awareness, So let's talk about what this process is. So the process of menopause is basically menopause is a diagnosis that you get when you are a woman who is beyond childbearing years. Basically, menopause means that a woman has not had her period in 12 months' time. Now, the place where and what happens is that your estrogen, your progesterone start to go down. You don't produce your eggs anymore, you don't have your period, and that's basically what that is. And so there's a whole bunch of like social, emotional, physical changes that happen to a woman through this process. Now, sometimes people will think, oh my God, she's a real bitch today. She must be in that menopause thing. Well, it doesn't really happen quite overnight like that. I think the change is here,
I thought that was usually the problem when you're
not
having a period. I don't know, that's usually when you.
So let me explain to you.
Explain to me.
Let me explain you.
You explain to me, Lucy. Okay. You explain to me.
I explain to you. And so the process of perimenopause is a process that can start for some women in their late 30s, into their 40s. But for most women, like in their 40s, they'll start to have, they might start to have irregular periods, as you journey to that point where you just don't have it for 12 months. That 12 months can take years to rack up because your period will become more irregular. Like you'll have it 1 month, you won't have it the next. And then you'll have like 2 periods, and then, so it's like, it's an unpredictable time,
I think if I had
with your body.
I think if I had 2 periods in a month, I think I'd be very potentially violent
Right,
and annoyed.
right. And for some women, their flow can lighten up a little bit. There's a lot of, there's changes that happen, and it's over the course of many years. Unless someone has like had an oophorectomy, which is they've taken out your ovaries, or you've had a hysterectomy. These things abruptly put a woman into the center, what menopause is. So, they
well, there's a hormonal shift that goes on.
Yes, exactly, between the estrogen and the progesterone decreasing, and in that situation decreasing abruptly, someone might have like harsher mood swings, more disruption in sleep, just a lot of the symptoms, and have them more severely than someone who has just gone through those years of, letting, their body just doing it on its own.
John has a comment. I think.
Yeah, go ahead.
I seriously feel for women in this. There's also the realization they cannot have a child.
Yes. So your whole role as a woman is changing.
Yeah.
This is what happens for a lot of women. It's like, oh, well, what am I doing? It's a lot. Like if you haven't had a child and you're going through menopause, it's like, oh, this is a done deal now. I'm not having any kids, or if someone is happily had their kids, but still realizing that you don't have this ability anymore, is really difficult. And then also, for some women, like sometimes you'll hear about pregnancies that happen because of the irregularity in their period. So, having to use pregnancy tests as, you're nearing towards menopause.
Because you're not even sure. It's like, it stopped. Yes. Why did it stop?
Is this nature, or is this the other kind of nature?
is it is this menopause, or is this morning sickness?
Well, you can kind of, I mean, it's different, but like,
and I know,
why is it stopped? But
well, because there's So Tina gave Don permission to talk about this. It was a big hurdle for her personally.
Yeah, of course.
And and that's why. Listen.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the menopause was induced for me because I have, endometriosis and fibroids. So the doctor said, okay, you just take these pills, take these birth control pills, and don't stop for that week that's your period, and you stay on them, every day, every you take it 28 days, and you just keep taking them. That's was something that helped those conditions for me. You know, but yeah, like they talk about the average age for women is 51 to finally reach that diagnosis of menopause,
right,
that you haven't had your menses in 12 months.
So Tammy says menopause is different for everyone.
Yeah.
It often mimics the problems and complexities of your periods. Many of her friends had bad periods that were a full week long and heavy.
Yes. Yes. So.
And some get moodiness and cramps majorly.
Yes.
And I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, but I would.
Yeah, I'm afraid. What's going to happen when I'm not on these pills in August? Because I think you're going to take it away because I'm going to be 52 by then.
But, again, it comes back to your body is changing.
Yes.
So just like when you're going through puberty, you have physical and mental stressors, psychological stressors on your body because there's a chemical rebalancing.
Change, yeah.
Rebalancing. I'm not calling it an imbalance, but it's a rebalancing going on when you hit menopause.
That's basically a chemical like ramping up for what you're supposed to do as a female human or a male human.
And now it's ramping down. Now, with men, if you watch the commercials for like testosterone X and other crap, for women, it's kind of it's steady until you hit that menopause and then it starts dipping. For men, it's when you've hit your certain high, probably in your upper 20s, then your testosterone keeps on just gradually going down, and then just
Oh, right, until you get the diagnosis of low T.
Do you have low T?
And then you have to reach out to Roman Medical.
Or Mr. T. Mr. T, I got low T.
I love how they do these men's things like low T and ED. It's like you can't know.
It's like I need to talk to a retired baseball player with a deep voice who can tell me about my low T. Tammy, I always had to stay quiet in these conversations because I had it easy, predictable, short, without other symptoms. Menopause was minor for me, like 3 months and done. Gone. Puberty, Tammy, get a little bit more. Is at least over time, years. Yep. After birth, a woman's hormones goes back to pre-pregnancy. Now that's a roller coaster. It's awful. You feel entirely out of control. Yeah. And that entirely out of control, I'm certain, adds to irritability and stress.
Yeah, why don't we talk about some of the symptoms? So, irregular periods, vaginal dryness, hot flashes, chills. These are more physical. Night sweats. I've had those. Chills, because I have the Hashimoto's, I'm always chilly.
You're hot, Rachie. You're hot.
Sleeping problems, mood changes, that's one of the things that people really tend to focus on, the mood changes and, hormonal stuff and trying to understand where that comes from. Weight gain and, a reduction or a slowdown of your metabolism. So if you're somebody who didn't have a problem losing that extra 10 pounds, for most of her life, and was able to manage weight, that becomes a little bit more difficult. Thinning hair and dry skin, loss of breathfulness. Oh, man.
Where did the boobies go? long time
I was just gonna say
passing.
long.
Where did the boobies
And so
go?
this is a normal
Long
process for
time
women to go
ago.
through. And so like, you know, we're because we're going through this, we're not sick. Um, some of us can experience it more deeply, more intensely than others. And there are treatments like hormone replacement therapy, different kind of creams to be able to help um, like dryness in certain tissues. So just being able to use your medical providers to be able to help alleviate some of what happens for you. um Even the sleeplessness too. And Also, like, just making sure that you follow up with screenings. Like, sometimes some women will feel well, I'm not childbearing anymore. How often do I really need to go to this gynecologist? Well, yeah, you need to go. You go every year. You're still
You still have
you're
the
still in
parts.
need of screening, for like your pap smears and all that stuff, and self care. So not to neglect that, and then also just to be able to stay following up with your primary care, because there are certain complications um that can happen um for people going through menopause. Menopause can place us at higher risk of certain conditions, um like cardiovascular disease. So we want to stay um doing our triglyceride screenings, and you know uh managing weight, exercising, all those things. Obviously, like, everybody said, oh, it's so hard to lose weight after menopause. you know it is possible, but it does take a lot more maybe than when you were younger. um but yeah, it's like, to be able to maintain yourself, being able to lose some weight if you're overweight, like you're in a situation like me, that you have considerable amount of weight. um Whatever you can do to lessen that harm, the better.
Uh,
And the exercise also protects
oh,
the
yes.
heart, so that's another reason to
Yeah,
do that. Do we have a comment you want
we
to?
had two comments,
Oh,
actually.
please.
So Don, responding to Tammy, nailed it. I think my wife has said before she sometimes feels that her body is out of control.
Yeah.
But Rach is right. I think keeping in contact with your primary care doc or your gyno
Yeah.
is essential. And I think that goes for all of us when it comes to your
Hmm.
primary care.
Yeah.
Or as my cardiologist put it, and he was funny, he's like, do you see your primary? I'm like, not since all this went down. And hey, Shan. All right. Bye, Shan.
It's not me.
Bye.
It's not my fault. It's all your fault.
And he's like, well, you know what?
All your fault.
He goes, and my cardiologist also doubles as a primary. He still has a primary practice. He's like, oh, between me and your endocrinologist, he goes, we've got everything covered anyway, and then some. You get more tests out of us than you get out of anybody. I'm like, thank you, I appreciate that. But yeah, you see, yeah, Tammy's like, yeah, you still need to get checked. The machine may not be putting out a product, but the machine parts are all still there.
Yeah.
And that is
Yeah.
that is certainly true.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. Another issue that can come up is loss of bone density and osteoporosis. So, you know, um, being able to try and safeguard yourself from there, and being able to keep tabs on what's happening with bone density. Because it's like, when you have poor bone density, that's another reason why to help yourself with the exercise, and just like mobility, stability, with walking, or um getting up and down from getting up and down out of the chair, things that we take for granted, but things that as we age, we can be more prone to falls. If we have osteoporosis or bone density issues, our hips break so easily then, or other
and if you're older,
other bones, and then
the older you get, the more these falls put you at risk
of death.
Of breaking a bone.
That too.
If you break a bone and you're elderly, so you break a hip. Broken hips are not uncommon amongst the elderly that I know.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, what becomes temporarily bedridden becomes long-term bedridden, essentially.
Right, because that is so much work to rehab it, and a lot of people, oh well, maybe I don't need to do that work, and the depression stuff that can come behind those kind of injuries.
An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of care, or some crap like that. I don't know the exact quote.
Here's another kind of uncomfortable one. Urinary incontinence can happen because the way that vaginal tissue can change. We have to make sure that our muscles there are good. So incorporating Kegel exercises as part of your exercise routine, like every day, so that this way you don't have like stress incontinence. You don't pee when you cough, you don't pee when you laugh, or when you lift heavy things that you're not dribbling out, so being able to work on that. And then also, like, doctors can give you like estrogen cream to be able to help with this too.
Not an issue I thought would be an issue I would ever talk about on this channel, but it makes a lot of sense.
Well, sometimes we just gotta go there.
It's like,
and then of course another one is sexual. I'm so sorry, a sexual functioning, but I'm not sorry because this is just what it is. So yeah, a lot of times for a lot of women, the libido decreases. And because sometimes because of that dryness, it can be very difficult during sexual activity. Like there can be tearing, where it can be hard for some women to still find as much pleasure as they used to have. So you can have bleeding, but just like making sure that like you're in a team with your partner to, how do we address it together, like between like lubricants or special, creams from the doctor, so that this way, and also like making sure that each other are still feeling attractive and that you're still attracted to that person,
I want to give a shout out to Don. Okay, so I'm gonna.
So we hit the crescendo of uncomfortable topics. So like the final one is basically weight gain, and so like if you were somebody that was able to be slender in their younger years or even through most of their life, that becomes more of a challenge. So just it also changes a lot how we manage ourselves. We have to change sometimes and be open to like different expectations and stuff around how we manage ourselves, and what we want to do in terms of like exercise and diet and things like that.
So I'm going to catch up on comments.
Please.
TXG wants to know, are there different types of osteoporosis?
Not that I
don't know.
Saw more of an overview.
I know my one grandmother had it.
Yeah.
Marky had it. Tammy Peen, when you cough, sneeze, get startled, I swear. But what makes your channel unique, this is Don. This is why I gave a special shout out to Don.
Yeah, we're willing to go there because we love you.
Is what channel unique, and so hopefully these moments seeing Eric squirm. Tammy, Don, I so agree. Eric might want to go play the Atari. Laugh out loud. This is Don. I'm sorry. As Rach it talks more, Eric gets more uncomfortable. I get overclamped, and on top of that,
I'm sitting here with my notes going. Wait till he sees the next one.
The next one. I'm not in tears, but my sinuses. Listen, I think as a member of the male species, theoretically, or
yeah. So how can we help? I want to help. This sounds horrible.
I will personally say that I will never experience any of this stuff myself, but indirectly I will experience much of this stuff because Rach is my best friend. She's my other half, and if she's miserable, I'm miserable. So you know what? Be there, listen. If your spouse needs to vent, let them vent. Be supportive. You know, I'm not big on the massaging the feet shit, but Rach will get a little shoulder rub, back rub sometimes. Little things will go far when somebody is suffering from something that a lot of times they can't even identify. I think that's something that, as a spouse, you have to realize too, is that what your significant other is going through, your wife, your best friend, your spouse, your sister, your mother.
Yeah.
Is that they don't necessarily understand what's going on.
And now, just so you know, it's really about the change. Once the person progresses through.
But the change can take years. I read.
Yes.
Okay. I read these fucking articles.
I just wanted to make sure.
And it's like, this can last for years.
Yes,
I was
exactly.
Like,
it can last for years, but you do make it through the other side. You're not going to be like spending your friggin' whole golden years like uncomfortable,
Come on through to
You're
the
gonna be
other
like,
side.
yes, I can wear white pants. Yes. Like there's gonna be some celebration too.
Celebrate no more periods. Come on.
Yeah. So in terms of like what kind of things can a spouse do to help their loved one? One day's like he talks a lot about doing your own research.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So, making sure like, it's like trying to understand, what is it that this person could be going through? What are the symptoms? What does this bring to the person in my life? You want to be able to sort of understand so that you can anticipate a little bit. And number 2, to be patient. Just to be patient.
I know that goes for
being patient because this does last for years.
honey, aren't you done yet with this menopausing? Holy shit, this menopausing, put it on pause. Well, yeah, it's gotta come on, cut it out.
And then just being able to talk to each other, being able to keep the lines of communication open and sort of like, helping, we can help them understand a little bit about what we go through or how it might feel in our body, or, what we're feeling emotionally, because they might be able to help us. They might be able to, or at very least, just hear us.
What Don says. I find one of the best things I can do for my wife is be patient.
Mm-hmm.
Understanding that some of the bad moments are not directed at me, but are more due to what she is feeling.
Yes.
Don, you've got multiple thumbs up for that one.
Yeah.
It makes up for mocking me.
And like, This one says become a team, but it's like if you weren't a team before, it's kind of hard to build
Yeah.
that. You can build it,
Yeah.
but it can be difficult. It can be another challenge. But you know, using your relationship,
Team skills.
using the team uh
Hey, let me put you this way.
skill, like problem solving together.
Let me put it to you this way. If you are in a relationship and you are not at menopause yet, the one that would be in menopause isn't there yet, and you haven't figured out how to act as a team, you better fucking figure it out. Because if you're not acting as a team prior to menopause, you're going to be acting as independent contractors with menopause. Because if you're already not instinctually saying, how can I help you? You are going to probably want to run the fuck away. So fix that shit in your relationship before you get to this point. Don't fix it when it becomes more difficult. Oh, we're going through different. Oh, now we have this extra stressor. Oh, let's figure out how to make this work now, hon.
Yes. Maybe
No.
even just like ask it like, what do you need?
Yeah.
How can I help you right now? How can I be helpful?
Mhm.
You know? Showing appreciation for like the confusion that's caused when, like Tammy said, we don't necessarily have full control over the body, you know? And like, because I think that seems like a pretty low hanging fruit one, because you know um as a partner you're like already confused anyway because of what is this thing that's
Yeah, but
happening,
that's to me that's just kind of like that's like a filler. It's like I need something to make it 10. That could have been any of the other ones as part of it. I'm sorry.
right.
It's like I need a longer list. I'm gonna just say be understanding.
Well,
Come on.
yeah,
If you're not a partner, you're not going to be understanding. And if you're understanding,
right,
you're going to be a partner.
right. And then another one is it's not always the hormones.
Oh, you mean sometimes I am
Yeah,
an asshole?
yeah, it's not just the hormones, um it's sometimes it's not the menopause, it's not always just that. So
sometimes I just fucked up.
sometimes we both do, right? So
Who the fuck?
we can have reactions to things that aren't hormonal.
Who pissed on the toilet seat? Well, the cat. Goddamn nighttime peeing. By the way, Don, and remember, sometimes there's nothing a husband can do but give space and patience.
Yeah, and reassurance. That's the last one.
I love you, Rachie. Even when even if you act like in what I can't say on YouTube without getting demonetized.
Well, let's not say that then.
But I understand, because if it isn't hormonal, then I probably deserved it. And if it is hormonal, I forgive you. Does that make sense?
Not quite sure.
All right. Well, pretend it did. Pretend it made sense.
Well, we got through that.
I didn't sweat too much.
I love the comments. They were so great.
Well, because you know what?
Yeah.
It's not. Listen, this is. I came to Tenkar's Tavern for gaming talk, and I heard about.
I tuned in. I heard about dry vaginas.
I was about to say the same thing too. I heard about menopause and dry vaginas. What? Yeah.
I was kind of scared that the M word would come in, and I'd be like, "Oh, great, we're talking about dry vaginas." She's perfectly.
Yeah. No.
On time.
all I'm thinking about right now is the because I apparently it's a thing. Regina out in Canada has an ad campaign saying, "Show us your Regina." So I was just like, I'm thinking about that as Rachel's talking, and I'm like, oh my god. Drive AJ. Maybe that's a name for a new spell. Yeah, you could ask our favorite Carolinian. That would be. So now that we've done, and this is important.
We made it through the other side, peeps.
Because I'll be honest with you. when I came down with like my congestive heart failure, I thought I was unique. I thought I was the only person
Right.
in this situation. And then I find out uh, Glenn Hallstrom has had congestive heart failure for over a decade, right? Skeeter Green had a heart attack earlier this year.
Yeah.
Don, you had your health scare. And there are others. And we are not unique. We're unique in our own situation for what's happening, but we have a commonality. And what I find very interesting about congestive heart failure and heart problems in general is how many medications there are that aren't directly there for.
Oh, that have like an off-label benefit right
Yes,
now.
I mean,
but it's going to be on label soon.
it's going to be on label soon.
Yeah,
but they're finding. Listen, a lot of like when I was on Jardians also.
Jardians, you're Forxiga now.
Well, here's the thing with Forxiga.
It has to be a certain dosage.
No, actually no.
No.
But Forxiga was initially researched as a heart medication.
Oh.
And then they found out it was this helps with blood sugar levels, but it still has beneficial effects for the heart. Most of the injectables, the 1 time a week injectables for your blood sugar for diabetes, whether it is Mounjaro or Ozempic, probably one of the others out there, they all protect the heart against serious failure and hospitalization and death. And how do I find this out? How did I learn about this stuff? I learned about this stuff because I did my own research.
Right. You have to look into, the efficacy of what you're taking. Like, what are the studies showing? You know, what, in what ways was this helpful?
Like when I got put on Jardians by my endocrinologist and I saw my heart failure specialist like a month later, and I told him I was on Jardians, and he goes, "Oh, that's good. You know what Jardians does?" I go, "Well, I know it does for my blood sugar, but I also know that there's a study in, I forget which medical journal it was, but I knew at the time."
Yes, and he was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, he's like, he goes,
I was like, "Oh, excuse me."
He goes, you researched this. I go, "Well, I wanted to know what the medication is that I was going to be taking, and I saw that they're doing studies where they are looking to prescribe Jardians to people who have congestive heart failure to protect the heart and not even be diabetic." So for me, as a diabetic, I was on Jardians prescription plan change. Now I'm on Farxiga, similar effect. So these are things that when you know what cards you've been dealt. Like I didn't know I had heart issues until I fucking had heart issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
But once you know the cards that you're dealt, then you can go, how do I protect this?
Right.
CoQ10. Amazingly enough, when I told my cardiologist I was taking it, because most doctors, you're telling me I'm taking Berbazine, they'll be like, what? It lowers blood sugar and it is protectorant for the heart. They're gonna, but CoQ10, your cardiologist will know about that, and they go, yeah, all right, that's great. No, yeah, take that, because that's, the other ones have smaller studies. CoQ10 has large studies that show it's effective. Now, it's inexpensive compared to taking medications that are, I guess, not generic yet. God knows how much I'm going to be. I'm not going to say pissing away in medical and prescription costs before the end of the fiscal year, but it will be significant. But we're going to have to do an episode. Maybe we'll bring together the people that I know that have heart issues.
That's great.
We can talk, because I'm going to tell you
what the lifestyle changes were that everybody made, or
and missing signs. Because listen, I
Oh yeah, it's easy to like not recognize symptoms.
I
Like when I found out I had Hashimoto's,
uh,
um, and they wanted to prescribe like the Synthroid, I was like, it just seems like it's just some old people stuff,
all right,
like because I'm getting older, um, and I'm getting draggy and whatever, um, but they were more severe than that,
right,
like you to get by in life, we minimize what our symptoms are and how they impact us.
right.
And it's not till we like see the labs or, they tell you a diagnosis or whatever that, you're like, oh, okay, I missed that.
You know,
I did have that. Oh, yeah.
so in retrospect, and I didn't even fully understand this until I was out of the hospital from my congestive heart failure, my 3 week vacation, as I was calling it, and I already had 3 stents in with an appointment 2 weeks later for my fourth stent because they only do so many at one time. And I'm home and I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, well, this all happened because of TotalCon. Because of TotalCon, I got the upper respiratory, which by the time I left, I couldn't even walk the length of a gas station without having to take a break and to get. And I went, holy shit! The Tuesday before TotalCon, that Tuesday, I went to my physical therapy, did because I lower back issues, sciatica, and walking down to the pub for lunch, I broke out into huge sweat. It was a winter day. It was February. I broke out into this huge sweat to the point when I got into the pub, I went downstairs to the basement to the bathroom. 'Cause I knew that bathroom used paper towels, didn't have a hand dryer at the time, and I literally mopped my body off. I didn't even have a beer. I was like, give me a seltzer. I had half my burger, and I went home, and I went to sleep.
Oh.
And I felt fine afterwards. I felt perfectly normal. Yet that was, in retrospect, likely a heart attack. No chest pain, none of that. You're like, well, you didn't have chest pain, but how did you? Because that was likely, it might have not been a large heart attack, might have been a small heart attack, but that was likely what set every other thing into motion. But without all that being set into motion, where would I be now? I'll be honest, I'm going to say 6 feet under because my body was doing a great job. And this is what they told me too. Even my surgeon was like, your heart did a great job compensating. The only problem is at some point it would not have been able to compensate anymore. Your body's an amazing organ. Your whole body is it's an amazing miracle. What it can do to keep itself going is nothing short of miraculous. So the best miracles are the ones that you participate in.
Yes.
And I've opened my eyes up to that and realized that if I'm going to, stick around, be a pain in the ass to the, I don't know, the people in our community that abuse their fellow community members
Mm-hmm.
in business dealings and otherwise,
Mm-hmm.
Kickstarters and all the other crap. If I'm going to stay true to myself, then I got to do what I can to keep myself around.
Yep.
And it does require a change. And you have to embrace that change. But yeah, I think we have to. I know a number of people. I would like to get a
That sounds
special
like a
episode
great
together
show.
and just talk about what it is that you are personally doing to stick around. Right? It, there's one secret that every doctor will be more than happy to tell you, and that is medicine is not going to fix you. Medicine will not save you. Medicine will help you
It's
save
just a
yourself.
part.
It will help you save yourself.
Yeah.
So people want to do weight loss, and I think and this is actually gonna.
Oh, this is an interesting topic. Like Weight Watchers just bought. I saw it on the telehealth newsletter. They are acquiring a weight loss, um,
Injectable.
well, for the injectables, but a weight loss sort of telehealth computer application
Uh-huh.
to own it themselves. It sounds like to be able to administer many different weight loss medications and other interventions
All right.
um,
Well, there's also
to address
well,
weight
it
loss.
gives them data too, and then
Yeah.
that's all. But here's the I'm going to take it from my injectable Mounjaro
Hmm.
is useful not only for type 2 diabetics and controlling our blood sugar, not only to protect the heart, it does that too. Great side effect. It also is used for weight loss. And here's the issue, okay? If you are taking one of these injectables, Ozempic is another one, that's a fine example, and you're taking it because you're a type 2 diabetic, well, that is supposed to be indicated on your prescription that is for type 2 diabetes. It can be prescribed for weight loss.
And something too, like if you don't give that person who's prescribing your full medical background, you can find yourself in trouble. Like, say, for example, you have a history of depression. Um, the these medications can, for some people, increase those symptoms,
Right.
or have a resurgence of those
Right.
symptoms.
So, but here, the side effect of the fact that it's being used kind of off label, like I can get the manufacturer of Munjaro to apply a patient assist, which brings my $1,000 a month down to 25. Awesome. If I was going in and getting my prescription filled for weight loss, you don't get that benefit. You're paying full price. Well, last Monday, my pharmacy capsule. It's a big pharmacy. It's in most major metropolitan areas at these points.
Mm.
They'll deliver anywhere in the 5 boroughs. They've been very good to me, but they've had trouble sometimes with Manjaro. And this time was flat out, we can't get it. Our supplier can't get it. Well, why can't your supplier get it? And they won't stock it because it's a perishable and it's an expensive perishable.
Yes.
So
And if, yeah, and I guess the volume that they have is just starting to tick
right.
up.
So um and they were suggesting they could call my doctor's office for alternative. I'm like, alternative. I mean, even if it was Ozempic, unless Ozempic's gonna come down to $25, I mean it's not covered under my insurance. It's not a realistic alternative. But I called my doctor's office up and I got the receptionist there. She is spot on, one of the best I've dealt with in any doctor's office. I told her what was going on, and I was saying, listen, they do have the prior dosage, access to that. Maybe the doc can lower me to one dosage. Or she's like, well, do you try the local pharmacies? I go, all my pharmacies by me are small. Everybody's going to be doing a special order. If there's a special order on this, it just isn't available. Let me put you on hold for a minute. She puts me on hold. She comes back. I found a pharmacy that has it. I was like, really? They have all doses. I'm like, really? She goes, I'll transfer it over. Can you? She tells me where it is. Can you find it? I'm like, yeah, I'll find it. I'll put my shoes on right now. I'll be driving out there.
Yeah.
So it was in Great Neck. Now, Great Neck is a neighborhood that is a wealthy neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I come in, and it's a beautiful marble floors. I mean, it's a high end place, and
Glass shells.
very bright.
She
Oh God,
little fragrance oils.
and I go up to
I liked it.
the receptionist, cashier, whatever, and I was like, say who I am and give my information, my insurance card, and I show her on my phone my patient assist information, and she processes it, and she's like, "Oh yeah, this the pharmacist just has to sign off on it and send it, and then it'll be good." So the pharmacist is on the phone, and she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry for the delay." And she goes, "Oh, you're gonna have to do this mail order." I go, "Well, mail order isn't happening. It's not." She's like, "Oh, because they're denying it." I go, "Yeah, they're gonna deny it." And then the cashier's like, not doc, but oh, whatever her name was, pharmacist so and so. It's already approved. You had a $25 copay. And then
Yeah, because they didn't see people who
they're not seeing people.
They're not seeing diabetics. They're
Right.
just seeing the straight
They're
up people who are
paying
like,
cash.
"Here's my money. Give me my injection."
I want to lose my 3 to 4 pounds this week.
Yeah, I have a wedding next Friday. You know,
I'll double up. So now, I mean, so that's the situation where legitimate people who have a medical need are.
I mean, they're all legitimate. They want help with something, but you
It's
know,
not. It's not the same need.
life saving is what we're talking. Yeah,
a true medical need.
Yes.
Okay, not a convenience need.
Yes.
So it was just a little. So now I'm leaving my prescription where I know they'll have it in stock all the time. I could see these 2 uh, glass refrigerators in the back of the pharmacy just filled with injectables, Ozempic, Mounjaro. I was like,
all weight loss injectables.
Yeah, but really type 2 diabetes medications.
Yes,
but they have a great result when it comes to weight loss. So just little thing. By the way, I haven't seen weight loss off my Mounjaro, but I'm trying. I break my food up now into like smaller portions, eaten over a longer time, because one of the side effects is you cannot. If you overeat, you will get
nauseous,
gaseous, queasy. So I had high calcium at my one blood test, but it's come down since then, since I stopped taking all those goddamn Tums. Also, I've adjusted. My body's adjusted to the injectables. But yeah, no. So I will start reaching out to my friends. They really are my friends, my extended family in this community that also are suffering from heart conditions as varied as they can be, because it's something that we all. The heart's your engine, right? Once that goes, so you got to keep it going. And unlike it's not so easy to rebuild a heart like it is. It's expensive to rebuild an engine. You don't want to ever have to rebuild your heart. So,
right.
Tom says he was off Trulicity for 6 months, and
Congratulations.
He was off it for 6 months.
Oh, I thought he was saying that the doctor took it.
No, he was off it for 6 months and gained 17 pounds.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. When you come off the medicine, the weight can come back pretty.
So, folks, I want to thank the extremely lively live stream crowd. You're all awesome. Tammy also said I could be your special guest, widowed twice for heart-related issues.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
50. Yeah. Like I said, I mean, folks, until it actually affects us, we don't think of it, right? And that's just human nature, I'll be honest with you. But now that I know what I know, as my heart failure specialist put it to me fairly early on, he goes to me, "You're doing everything I would do." And he goes, "And I have years of education and schooling and knowledge." He goes, "You don't have, but you're doing everything you're supposed to do, including doing your own research." And he goes, "I wish all of my patients were like that." I was like, "You've only got one life. You've only got one life." So yeah, we'll have to do. We should have done it around Valentine's Day, the heart special. Lost out on that timing, didn't we? We'll find something. Yeah. Spring, yeah, we'll do it for spring, folks. Oh, it is springtime now, right? We officially started spring.
Yes, we did on Tuesday.
On Tuesday,
21st.
Wow, the 25th already.
Mm-hmm.
Holy crap! Where's this year going, folks?
Too fast.
Thank you again to everybody in the live stream that's been watching, commenting. You, literally, each and every one of you, are why we do this. And if making me squirm gets more people to watch and listen, so much the better. Or, as I said when I was taking my oath to myself as become a police officer, I was like, if I get out of this job, do my 20 years, I change one life for the better, I've done what I needed to do. I've had a good career.
So you've re-upped that oath with Gamers Health.
I've pretty much re-upped that oath with Gamers Health. Changed one life for the better. I'm hoping that we can do a lot more than that, but change one life, give one person some extra time with us. I think we've succeeded. Don, everyone has been awesome, and thank you for talking about the topics other channels shy away from. Me and Tina are lucky to have met you all.
We are too.
We're the lucky ones.
Yes.
We get to do this. I'm the lucky one because my experience is I got out of that year of 2020. I was like, and Rachel's here. I was like, wait, we got to do something. I came herself. What are you talking about? I go, we got to do. I don't know. I didn't know, but I just knew we had to do something,
and
we
it
had
just
to be
kind
involved.
of started to
And then it started to
refine itself,
coalesce as a Saturday night live stream. So thank you all.
Thanks everybody for such great comments and
yes, and really
participation.
Keeping us engaged. You know, this is what makes it. We hit like I think 10 people in the live stream at one point for a talk about menopause, which means there weren't a lot of men tuning in.
Oh right, because did it say that in the
Gamers Health Live Menopause and More special tonight 8 p.m. Eastern.
So God bless you people.
So I mean, this. It wasn't like it's like, hey, Tankar is going to be talking
it
about.
It scared Mario away.
Tankar's going to be talking about Shadow Dark and dry VGs. Oh. What is these?
Well, yeah, if someone's asking for it, somebody needs it, whatever. We can talk about driving JJs all day.
No, we can't. Please, please, let's not. The scariest
whatever
RPG concept ever: menopause. Well, at least you know it's a campaign that has a set beginning and a set end. Yeah. Right? It can't be forever.
Yeah. This was a requested topic from someone that we ran into at TotalCon, and they were very much like, you have to do an episode about. And so he said, yeah, absolutely.
And here it is. Ask and you shall receive.
Yes.
If you want an episode about, like, I don't know, masturbation, no, sorry, can't do it. No, we don't have the teen audience. That would be it wouldn't, and that's that.
I would think they've already mastered their domain.
Yeah. They're masturbators.
Yeah.
All right. Hot Flashes and Horrors, the RPG.
Nice.
Hardy ho. All right, folks. On that note, we're going to give you back the rest of your Saturday night. As you can tell from the background on occasions, we have two preteens wandering the halls, causing all types.
We got to go gas them out right now.
Really? I get to gas them out?
Yeah.
Do I get to eat like some really good beans and stuff before I do?
You already did.
Oh, that's right. I had to break
beans. You're ready, man.
I'm ready. Are you ready? I'm gonna be SpongeBob. I'm ready. I just think this is us sober. That's why we don't drink during this show usually. No. Oh yeah, I have to do an episode on the benefits of red wine. Folks, be safe, be well. God bless. Roll this dice, roll them well. I will be back again tomorrow. Some random shite. And tomorrow morning, the reason why the girls are staying is because I promised them that we would take them to see the sunrise by the ocean, which actually is going to be Jamaica Bay. Because if you go to the ocean, you don't see the sunrise.
It's just all of a sudden up there.
Yeah, you just look south. You don't. So we're going to take them to Jamaica Bay, and they're going to get to view the sunrise.
Well, I guess you'd see it in the east coming.
So, there they are.
Yeah.
Which means
stand up.
Stand up. Sit down. All right, we're out of here, folks. God bless. Laters.
Take good care.